Hey, my name is Brent here on Cloudy with the Chance of Meeples. Today, Nicole joins us once again as we check out the 2 to 4 player abstract game in which you'll be building a structure, trying to reach the top before your opponent. Today, we head to Greece, we look at Santorini. Cue the thunder. So the radar overview for Santorini looks something like this. You put the main board in the middle of the table, and I will show you this. It's got this raised effect. I know in the deluxe edition it had a water board that you put underneath this one to make it look as if this landmass was coming out of the water, but in this edition, you just have that board in the middle, and then each player, it plays a 2 to 4. 2 players is probably the best, but more on that later. You randomly put your players on the board, and again, there's a components for a 3rd player. But right now, we're just showing you a 2-player game, and I'll show you just how the game mechanics work, and then I'll show you the god powers and what that adds. So on your turn, it's very simple. You have to do 2 things. You must move, and then you must build. So moving means you can move any space around you. So this player can move any space here. So let's say they move there, and then when they build, they can build any space around them, one of the 8. So let's say they build that, and then it would be the blue player's turn. They would move up. You can always move up 1 level, and then they can build here. And then it would be back to the gray player. They don't have to alternate between workers. You can use either of the workers, but whichever worker you use, you then have to build with that worker, and they would build there. And let's say back to the blue player, they move there and build here. Okay, gray, you can always move up 1 level, but you cannot move up 2 levels. Also, you could always jump down from any level. So if you're at the 2nd one, you can always jump down and then build. And you keep going until one of 2 things happens. One thing, a player cannot move or build, then they lose. Or the second thing is, if ever it's set up, let's say it was the blue player's turn and they're starting their turn, they then move up to the top, and then you win if you get up to the 3rd level. Of course, this player, if it was set up like this player could move like this and build a dome here. You can build kind of any level anywhere. It has to go in order, of course, but I could move this and build here, and move this person and build up top here, whatever the case is. So like I said, those are the bare bone mechanics of this game. And then after you played a few games, which I suggest you do, you can add the simple god powers. So simple god powers, there's 10 of them, and they just add extra special abilities for each player, and I'll just highlight a few of them. And so the simple ones, they have this little hibiscus logo in the corner, and then I know there's an expansion, so some of them can be used with the expansion, and this one can be used with 3 or 4 players. So I believe all of them can be used at 2-player, but some of them can only be used in 3 or 4-player counts or whatever, what have you. But I just want to highlight a few of them. So Pan, winning condition. Another winning condition for Pan is if he ever jumps down from 2 levels or higher. So if a player is like this and they had the ability of Pan and it was their turn, they could just jump down and win. So that's pretty sweet. I love playing with him. Prometheus, if you don't move up on your turn, you can build before and after you move. Atlas, you can build a dome anywhere. So if this player was Atlas, they could just move and build a dome on the ground and block your opponents from jumping around and jumping down. And so as you can see, there's a whole bunch. Minotaur, you push someone off. If you move into their space, you push them off. And Hermes, if you don't move up and down, you can move infinitely around the board and then build. So those are some of the basic god powers, and then there are even more. All of these. So there's 30 altogether. Like Zeus, he can build underneath himself, but you cannot build underneath the 2nd to the 3rd to win. So there's that one. Stia, She can build an additional time, but only in the middle sections and not on the outside. So again, there's so many different god powers, and the artwork is just fantastic. There's nice instructions. So the one side has all the simple god powers and explains that, and then a whole other sheet explaining the advanced god powers and how they work and stuff. So there you are. That is the radar overview of Santorini. Let's check out the final forecast. So the final forecast for Santorini, 2 to 4 player abstract game that really is a 2-player game.
Oh yeah.
It's a 2-player game. We played a 3-player, or I played a 3-player.
And 4-player.
I played a 4-player, but specifically 3-player, it just doesn't work because you have kind of like a referee. You have, it gets to king making kind of at the end, because if you move one way, one person wins. You move the other way, the other person wins. Yeah. This doesn't work very well. 4 players.
You're on a team.
And
so
then,
unless you like teams, no, I'm just kidding.
And maybe you love team games and stuff like that, but this one to me doesn't. It doesn't really work for team games. But moving on, artwork, I love it. I love the presentation of this game. I love Greek mythology. I always have. One of my favorite classes in grade 9, which was forever ago, but I do probably the only class or subject I didn't fail on. But anyways, I love Greek mythology, so I was instantly drawn to Santorini because of the artwork. It looks great.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It looks good. So moving on from artwork, what else do you like about the game?
Oh, I don't like anything else about the game. Honestly.
Shortest review ever.
This is one of those games that I struggle with. Like, Brent will say, well, he won't even say it anymore because he knows, but he used to say, hey, Nicole, do you want to play Santorini tonight? And I would be like, no. Like, no part of me wants to play that game. Even though I will say the other thing it has going for it is that it's quick. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, because it takes what?
I know, we played a game this afternoon. You beat me, shockingly.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Played it this afternoon. See, I'm not that mean. I played it.
And she won, so maybe she'll like it more. Or maybe not. But yeah, 10 minutes. You could probably play best of 2 out of 3 in 25, 30 minutes maybe.
Yeah, it's quick, so that's nice. But yeah, I can't explain. I don't have a really good reason for why I don't like it. I just don't like the feel of it. Like,
you don't like chess, and it's kind of similar.
True. Yeah. You have to think ahead, and you have to like outthink your opponent almost, which I don't like doing because it's hard.
Yeah. And that's fine. You don't have to like all the games I play, and
Brent loves the game, and it's a popular game. It's
and again, this isn't a newer game. I think it came out in 2016, and I think it was originally designed like 2004 or like 20 years ago or whatever. Gordon Hamilton's been working on it for years and years. But I believe he's a math teacher or a school teacher of some degree. And on the back of the box, it says, learn in 30 seconds, play for life.
It's supposed to be educational, I think, too, for kids at least.
Yeah, well, like elementary school kids, I think it says on the back of the box, like simple enough for an elementary school kid, deep enough for the hardcore gamers. So I think it has a big, wide net of appeal to different age groups and age ranges.
And your favorite thing about this game is the god powers, I think.
I really like the god powers.
You're always all up about those god powers.
Variable player powers. I love that because I love having something that you can do that other people can't.
It does change the game a lot.
It does. And, it's got those 10 simple ones. So when you're first starting off, I would suggest just play, even a couple games, no god powers. And it even says that in the rule book. Play a few games, just learn just the straight up mechanics of the game, how this game plays. And then after that, you can introduce the simple god powers. And there's 10 of those, and you could still get a bunch of plays in with just those 10.
Oh, yeah.
And then you add another 20, so you have 30 possible god powers. And it just opens things up that you have to watch so much because how you play every game after that, the different combinations of how these god powers interact. I know some of them are only for 3 or 4 players or this or that, so you got to be mindful of that if you're playing at the higher player count. But there's just so much variety in this game. A simple game, but with those god powers, they've just opened it up so much. So I think Santorini is a good game. I really do enjoy it. I played it with our son. I'm hoping fingers crossed that he starts liking it more than Nicole does, and then it'll hit the table more. As it stands right now, again, a good game, solid design. I'm giving it a solid 70% Chance of Meeples because I enjoy this game. Production's good. The God powers are great. The artwork's great. So 70% Chance of Meeples. If you're looking for a good, quick 2-player abstract game, check out Santorini. Check us out on Facebook. Cloudy with the Chance of Meeples. Until next time, grab your umbrella. The forecast is cloudy with a Chance of Meeples. Hey, my name is Brent here on Cloudy with the Chance of Meeples.
Start over. I wasn't looking at it again.
Yeah, okay.